before we were talking about the WWE Network royalties and that whole thing, and we were kind of in the middle of it. We had a bunch of guys on our show. We were talking about it. Obviously, we've had Rene Dupree on a couple times. But what was the whole network royalty case, and how come it ultimately, came to court and got dismissed?
Well, I think Dupree was being manipulated by the same lawyer that's been running around bringing these CTE cases against the company. In fact, we know he is. And that whole business started with this guy advertising on the internet looking for people to sue the WWE, and then he's made various promises and representations to these people about what he thinks he's going to get for them and all the rest of that. After the judge in the CTE cases issued her substantive rulings throwing out entirely 2 of the cases and 5/6 of the other one, while expressing skepticism about whether that claim would survive. Shortly after that, we believe he got Dupree to bring this royalties case as kind of a way to deflect attention from what was happening in the other cases, knowing full well, frankly, that Dupree's case couldn't go anywhere. And as matters turned out, evidently didn't even tell the lawyers that he recruited to bring the case and hide his own involvement, that Dupree had signed not 1, but 2 contracts that prohibited him from bringing such claims. And as soon as the lawsuit was brought to my attention, I sent an email, I think the night they filed it, to the lawyer in Chicago. That Dupree would not have any lawyers in Chicago. He's from Canada. He was steered there. So I brought this to the attention of the Chicago lawyer and said, look, I assume you don't know this, because any lawyer who saw these documents wouldn't bring this lawsuit. But here's what your client signed. And as you can see, it absolutely prohibits this lawsuit that you brought, and I would demand that you withdraw it immediately. And he wrote back saying, very professionally, thank you. I was not aware of this. We'll look into it. And I'm sure he did. And as the evidence shows, he then withdrew the lawsuit, which was the only proper thing he could have done, frankly. He could not have continued the lawsuit at all once I brought that to his attention. And Dupree would have known it too. I mean, it was all designed, I think, to create some negative publicity for the company and see if they could maybe get somebody better than Dupree to bring such a lawsuit, just kind of trolling, if you will, for plaintiffs.
Now, with this whole thing, how does that differ from the Doug Summers case and the Gilbert family case?
Well, I don't think it does. They were trying to make it different by making contractual claims, but these claims have never succeeded yet, and they never will. Gilbert, Summers, there's a bunch of cases. There's Freddie Dryer and a bunch of guys that opted out of the NFL. If you remember, the NFL had similar cases, and they had class action case brought against them for people from former NFL players on the NFL network, which the NFL, as they seem to do, they have a lot of money to throw around, so they chose to settle with that class and pay them some money. But a couple guys, including Freddie Dryer and the rest, I think about 12 other guys, opted out of that class and brought their own lawsuits alleging that the NFL owed them more money, I gather, than what they would have gotten through the class action settlement. And it was kind of a dumb move, because now you have to survive motions to dismiss that can be filed against such claims, and the NFL did, and they lost, and the court threw their claims out. Basically, the way the law works on this stuff is pretty simple. I mean, we're the owner of the copyrights of all of these things. The WWE is the sole and exclusive owner of the copyrights. Federal copyright law rewards, if you will, the people who make the investments in creating these copyrighted works, who go out and hire the talent and the audience, or the stadiums and the cameras and, all the expense of creating these films with exclusive rights of display, reproduction, and sale. And so when these people come in and say, well, you're being unjustly enriched and I'm not getting any of this money, the defense is always the federal copyright law gives us the exclusive right to do it and preempts any of these state law claims that you're trying to assert that would burden our rights of ownership, and they get thrown out every time.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.